Like a truck that had your name on it? Yeah, I was like, I started to go out there and be like, because that's how you drive by one. And then
Yeah, we have to turn around.
My name is Dave. I'll be the fellow manatee in the water with you. Oh yeah, I see it. It's right around the corner. Where are we coming from? Where's home?
Texas.
Texas?
Maryland?
Maryland?
Tennessee.
Tennessee? Has anyone ever done this before? All right, so there your question. Can everybody here swim?
Yes.
Okay, either way, I was going to find out. And now, even though they look like a giant floating baked potato, they don't have any body fat on them. They're about 96 and 97% lean muscle mass. So they cannot survive in water colder than about 68 degrees. They'll succumb to basically what we know as hypothermia. It's a little bit different from our frostbite. All their skin starts to fall off. So when they come in here in the wintertime, our strength is 72.6 degrees, and it's just warm enough to keep them alive. But they're not exactly happy. They're true Floridians. They like water in between 75 to 90 degrees. That's their sweet spot. This time of year, we don't have the large numbers that you see online all the time. We have a residential population of animals here. So it may take us 5 minutes to find one. It may take us an hour. It changes every time we go out. The last 2 trips, we've been searching, but we've gotten in the water. So just stay positive and be patient. They are wild animals. They're not in a cage somewhere. They're free to do about what they do every day. When we first get in the water, we're going to just be passively observing them in their natural habitat. So everyone here will be in wetsuits, aka superhero costume. It's basically a full body life jacket. It makes you extremely buoyant, and then we give you this super technical piece of equipment called a pool noodle. That pool noodle goes up onto your chest and behind your arms, and how we're going to be swimming today is forget you have feet. Okay? We don't want to be kicking and splashing around a manatee. They are not a fan of it. Okay? The way you're going to pull yourself along in the water is a closed finger, cupped hand, rolling doggy paddle like this. And where you guys need to be is next to me. I'm your manatee beacon in the water, okay? And the manatees are going to be below us underwater. So if you're staring off in the clouds, I promise you no manatees are going to be flying overhead, okay? Those died off a long time ago. The first thing you will notice in the water is their size. Just remember there has never been a recorded incident ever of a manatee harming a human being. They actually don't even know how to. In most mammals, you have a fight or fight response. Manatees do not possess the fight side. Their frontal cortex is kind of underdeveloped in that area, so even if something's bothering mom and baby, all they do is swim away. For the guys, while they're breeding, it's basically a big hugging contest. Whoever holds their breath the longest wins. Okay. It is that time of year where the boys are back in town, so every single female manatee is currently running for her life. Okay. Male manatees have some of the worst pickup lines in the animal kingdom. Compare them to like a drunken frat boy. Okay. If we are with a single female and a boy does show up, if he does have any manners about him, they'll kind of join up together and feed. He may be whispering some one-liners at her, but most of the time they come crashing in there like Chris Farley, okay? If that does occur, his brain's going to go from, oh, I lost the opportunity, ooh, food, and then he'll just go down and start eating. We'll stay with either one. A lot of times what the females will do is they'll swim about 25 feet and do a big U-turn, and the boy just blindly keeps swimming in one direction. The last place they saw. Well, we're in the water with them. Best spot to be, it's kind of easier said than done, is on either side of her or out in front. This is where all the cuteness lies. Really stinky bubbles coming out of the back of this. Okay. They're vegetarian. It takes about 7 days for one mouthful of food to make it through 150 feet worth of intestines. So it's in there for a while. They can actually use flatulence to regulate their buoyancy in the water. So if we swim up on one that is head down with its butt real high in the water, make your way to the front of that manatee because something's fixing to happen, okay? And I promise you, if you're downwind of it and it goes down your snorkel, you will remember it forever, okay? People always wonder, what are the chances of manatee coming up and saying hi to me? It's based on the manatee. A lot of times you see these awesome videos of manatees getting real close to people. Every manatee has their own personality. They're complex thinking animals, so they can make decisions, they can problem solve, and their memory is impeccable. They can remember a 1,000-mile migration route and pass it down for 50 years to each one of their offspring. So they are thinking while they're doing what they're doing on the bottom, so if they choose to get close to you, they made that choice, so feel blessed. We're looking for 2 types today, ones that are feeding and ones that are resting. Generally, those trying to make more of each other, we're just going to observe from the boat. Or if they're swimming from point A to point B, I don't feel like being Michael Phelps today, so we're probably just going to watch that from the boat as well. If we do come and find a interactive manatee, you'll hear me say a phrase called freeze and float. Basically, all I want you to do is just put your hands on your noodle and be completely still. Allow that manatee to inspect you. My ladies with long hair, if your hair is down, they may come up and play with your hair. My friends with facial hair here, they may come up and play with your facial hair. They really like our toes for some reason. We call it the manatee foot fetish. They really like your toes. Or if it's a young male teenage manatee who's kind of getting his feet wet in the dating world, he may confuse you for a female manatee. Okay? Those are manatee dates. They're pretty short-lived, and the only downside to it is that he won't call you back. Okay? I've had my heart broken a couple times out there, so if it happens to you, we'll cry in our mask together and get through it. Okay? They cannot see. They're about twice as blind as a legally blind person, but the way they get around that is they're covered in super sensitive hairs all over their body, about 5,300 of them over their entire body. They can tell anything from a barometric pressure change in the weather 2 weeks in advance. They can also feel your heartbeat from about 6 to 7 feet away. So the calmer and cooler you are around an already calm baked potato, the better it is, okay? This video I'm about to show you goes over all the no-brainers of what we're not going to do today. We're not going to punch any manatees. We're not going to kick any manatees today. We're not going to lick any manatees today. I know, right? Put it down there. They can do all that. Well, they can't punch and kick, but they don't watch this video, so if they choose to interact with you, they can do whatever they want. This video I'm about to show you goes over all the no-brainers of what we're not going to do. You're going to see a lot of knuckleheads in this. There is something I have to tell you verbally that occurred last year that they're making a new video for. Unfortunately, if you see a manatee with algae on its back, please don't write the F word in it or a political party. Just leave them alone, hands off. I know it sounds stupid, but unfortunately it happened. So now they have to make a new video. But we'll get through this. It takes about 7.5 minutes, and then once we're done with that, I'll come back in here, I'll size everybody up. Our dressing rooms are through that curtain and to the right. You'll see a bunch of curtained off areas if you hadn't seen them already. We do have these back there for any stuff that you don't want to bring with you. Generally, the entire boat will be wet by the time that we're done. I would say bring a towel and leave your dry clothes here. That way you know they're going to dry. So I'm going to get this rocking and rolling, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Welcome to the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge and the Kings Bay Manatee Refuge. You are among the thousands of yearly visitors privileged to enter our natural springs, home of the Florida manatee. Your awareness of our rules and recommendations is essential to the protection of manatees and their ecosystem. It is your responsibility to learn and understand these rules prior to recreating in the refuge. Between November and April, Kings Bay is home to the largest aggregation of manatees in a natural environment in the world. To protect manatees from harm, harassment, and disturbance, the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge and manatee sanctuaries were created in parts of Kings Bay. In addition, all of Kings Bay has been designated as a federal manatee protected area, with special manatee protection regulations in place year-round. The Florida manatee is protected by the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972, the Federal Endangered Species Act of 1973, and the Florida Manatee Sanctuary Act of 1978. Violations of these statutes may result in fines of up to $100,000 and/or 1 year in jail. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service recommends that all visitors practice passive observation when viewing manatees. Passive observation means calmly observing manatees from a distance and from the surface of the water and not initiating any contact with the manatee. In addition to practicing passive observation, visitors should not approach manatees, particularly those found resting. During the winter months, manatees come to the springs to stay warm and spend the majority of their time resting around Kings Bay. Undisturbed access to the springs is critical to the manatee's survival. Resting manatees can be found near the water's surface, partially submerged in the water column, or laying on the water bottom. They remain relatively still while resting, but may make some slight movements. For example, manatees may remain almost motionless before moving to the surface to breathe, then returning to the original resting position. This means that resting manatees may be found moving while resting, and it is your responsibility not to disturb them. Recreating close to manatees is a privilege that comes with serious personal responsibility. In the next few minutes, the rules that prevent manatee harassment will be shown, followed by additional recommendations that will improve the quality of your experience. Manatee sanctuaries. Manatee sanctuaries provide a safe area for manatees to rest without disturbance from humans during the cold winter months. Manatee sanctuaries are designated by large orange and white buoys stating closed area. All activities are prohibited inside. Visitors must stay out of all posted manatee sanctuaries and all other posted closed areas. The following activities, or the attempt to perform any of the following activities, is prohibited throughout Kings Bay. Chasing or pursuing a manatee. Disturbing or touching a resting or feeding manatee. Diving from the surface onto a resting or feeding manatee. Cornering or surrounding a manatee. Riding, holding, grabbing, or pinching a manatee. Poking, prodding, or stabbing a manatee with anything, including your hands and feet. Standing or stepping on a manatee. Separating a mother and calf, or separating a manatee from a group. Giving a manatee anything to eat or drink. Actively initiating contact with a belted or tagged manatee and associated gear, including any belts, harnesses, tracking devices, or antennae. Interfering with rescue and research activities. We understand that these are extensive rules to remember. However, if you practice passive observation, you won't have to worry about breaking any of these rules. Responsibilities of swimmers, snorkelers, and divers in Kings Bay. There are other things you can do that will improve the quality of your experience and reduce impacts to manatees and other visitors. By following these simple guidelines, you will prevent manatee harassment and disturbance while increasing your opportunity to see manatees up close. When you are ready to get in the water, remember that you are about to enter the manatee's home. Make sure there is a dive flag within 100 feet of where you'll be swimming. Enter the water quietly and slowly to keep from scaring manatees and stirring up the bottom. Unnecessary splashing can disturb manatees and stir up sediment, reducing visibility. Keep your feet or fins off the bottom, especially in shallow areas, to maintain visibility. Always keep calm, reduce splashing or excessive noise as much as possible. When approaching the springs, swim as quietly and slowly as possible, keeping legs, arms, hands, and fin movements to a minimum and below the water's surface to prevent splashing. A wetsuit and snorkel gear is highly recommended, especially during the winter months. Wetsuits provide improved buoyancy, helping keep all snorkeling activity at the surface. Snorkel gear improves your ability to see manatees and will prevent you from accidentally swimming over or into manatees. Always give manatees the right of way, and do not block or intercept a manatee as it moves or surfaces to breathe. Avoid swimming over manatees or hovering over them. Swimming over or hovering over manatees can easily disturb them, particularly those found resting, nursing, or feeding. Don't approach a mating herd. Although manatees aren't aggressive, approaching a herd can be dangerous for swimmers. The sound of bubbles generated by scuba gear may disturb manatees. Avoid approaching any manatee while wearing scuba gear. Remember, you are responsible for your children. Make sure that they understand the rules for swimming with manatees, and never leave them unattended while in the water. Practice passive observation. By using this technique, the likelihood of harassing or disturbing a manatee is significantly reduced, and manatees are more likely to approach you. Your actions affect the behavior of other visitors around you, so it is always best to be the example, especially when around children. If you see an injured manatee or need to report a violation of the Kings Bay Manatee regulations, please call the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission's Wildlife Alert Hotline at 1-888-404-3922. Thank you for taking the time to review these regulations and guidelines. Please remember that Kings Bay is a community shared by manatees and people, so be respectful of homeowners, businesses, and manatees during your visit. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service wants both you and the manatees to have a safe experience. With your help, we can protect this critical manatee area so it can be shared with future generations. For more information about manatee protection within Kings Bay, visit us online at www.fws.gov/Crystal River.
All right, look at my timing on that. It's almost like I've seen it before. So this video is geared much more towards wintertime conditions when they're highly concentrated in one area. We also, on Father's Day, we had a very large tornado come through here, and it kind of stirred the bay up. There was a water spout out in the Gulf, then it hit land, became a tornado, and then it tore up some houses along the way throughout the bay. So if you see debris floating, like parts of a roof and stuff like that, just kind of avoid that. Also, I can't promise you this water quality because of that factor. It's still pretty nice, but there are certain areas where that water spout went over, where it brought all the stuff up off the bottom, and it's all still kind of settling. So if we're in those areas, sticking close to me, you're going to be able to see the manatee. Okay. Two things that I cover for this time of year: when manatees are feeding on the bottom, they feed like a Roomba. There's really no rhyme or reason for the direction that they're going. They're just trying to shovel as much food in their mouth as possible. In that event, the hovering over you. It's going to happen. She's going to wind up swimming under you. As long as you freeze and float, like I was talking about earlier, you're not breaking any rules, okay? Even if she decides to come up during that instance and she's under you, she knows that you're there, okay? She can feel your heartbeat. She'll do one of three things. She'll come up and go past you and take a breath. She'll go out and in front of you and take a breath, or she'll just simply pick you up on her back, take a breath, and then set you right back down, okay? As long as you stay nice and still, you're not going to bother her. I'll be taking pictures of your eyes wide as dinner plates if that happens to you. The other one is impeding their natural movement. If we're in shallow water and she's feeding and she starts coming at you, most people's innate reaction is to try and get out of her way. We understand that. We love the fact that we respect her space that much, but it's much better just to stay still. She will make the decision like, oh, I want to go here, you're here. My option is going to bump you out of the way. And she'll just move you effortlessly out of the way and then just keep on going. As long as you stay still, you're not going to bother her at all. She'll just go boop, and you're like a little rubber duck in her bathtub, okay? You're not going to hurt her, okay? But anything else, if while in the water you're like, oh, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what I should do, when in doubt, freeze it out. Just hands on your chest and float there. If anything, I'll swim up to you and be like, hey, it's Dave, I'm going to grab you by your pool noodle and slide you back. And that'll be about it, okay? If anyone wants to run and use the restroom before I put you in the wetsuit, that's definitely a good idea. That way you don't have to fight the wetsuit twice. But if you're in the water and you got to pee, just let it rip. Okay? Everything we give you is extremely clean. We use hospital grade Odoban to clean our equipment. So I say that to preference this joke. 90% of people pee in their wetsuits, 10% lie about it. Okay? So if you wind up peeing, there's no shame in that game. Okay? So if anyone does need to run and use the restroom, feel free. If you're ready for a wetsuit, just meet me in the back and I'll get you size. Yes? Close the door. Quiet, fairly self-explanatory, calm, that's a little more practice, a little more to the point. They don't see very well, visual creatures, and they come for that with these little whiskers on their back to pick up movement, vibration in the water. And that's how they keep track of their surroundings, what they feel. Turns out, those whiskers are pretty sensitive. They can pick up a movement in the water right down to 1/10,000 of a meter, 2 meters away. They can feel your heartbeat and can meet you up there, they can feel your breathing that far away. Which is cool, they're not afraid of us, it's not like that. But they are that sensitive to movement, so just try not to move more than you need to. Where you need to go is, well, pretty simple. Stick with Dave, right? He's your manatee beacon in the water. Don't swim around like for manatee as much as swim with Dave and look at what he's trying to show you, right?
Whoa.
cover the.
That's a good place to put it.
Yeah, I'll cover the shipping and handling.
Crab traps, I think. So we're here at the freezer, and this restaurant is highly recommended by a friend. We're so excited to see what they serve here.
You walk to the wall, look at the menu, and order at the bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the menu's on the wall.
The menu's on the wall. Alright. Okay. So no dogs allowed here?
Smells good.
Smells good. Look. There it is. That's the rest of this. It's a nice view here too.
He said this is where they usually eat. They come out here and eat it in the Tiki. He said that, look. He said, sorry, dog, I'm blocked.
A lot of place. You've got some Tiki hut, and that one over there. Yeah.
We can walk there.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, those are dollar bills. We're looking for Ted's name. Let's see. Coral Reef, Dr.
Some of them been up there for a while.
Yeah.
Say R.I.P. this person forever apart.
There's not much name.
We should hang ours on the blue sign. It would be easy to see.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Daddy. Look, oh my gosh, we're never gonna
Oh
find
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's over here too. We drew this. Okay. Ted, it's hard to look for your name in here.
Yeah, there's no
Like
way
freaks, there's no way you're gonna find the names here because like they're all over the wall and even
I'm getting ready to fly down.
look, they're in the puppets over there and they're on the ceiling. Something's up in there too. So that is over there. Up over there. What else? They just fill this one up with a lot of dollar bills.
Yeah.
This place is filled with dollar bills. He's a little bit shy.
Toss the other one. Just went right over it, done it. There it is. I'll come back. You know, when he's look, no, there's another squirrel already there waiting. He's like, hey, who give that to you?
Checking on her. Okay, so this is our food. This is a steamed tilapia, pound of shrimp, and we also have a pound of clam. This is real good, and we have the sauces and stuff. Hey!